That's a Cancer moon thing, that because you're so sensitive, if somebody's disappointed or you feel their energy shift, you don't actually know what they're feeling, but you might think you do, or you might interpret it in a way that they didn't tell you. And now you start to second guess and try to anticipate other people's needs. Don't do that this week. Welcome to the Story of Spirit podcast, where practical spirituality meets real life. Hi, I'm your host, She Tells Story. I'm a psychic medium, grief support counselor, professional astrologer, and a human design reader, and of course, a law of attraction master coach. With my unique blend of spiritual and practical tools, I am here to help you align with your soul-led purpose and ignite a life that sets your soul on fire. In this podcast, we are going to explore the principles of energy, astrology, spirituality, and psychology to help you heal your grief and create an aligned life and business from the inside out. Whether you are looking to deepen your intuition, understand your cosmic design, or transform your business, this podcast is for you. Join me each week for insightful discussions, practical tips, and inspiring stories that will guide you on your journey to living your very best life. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at She Tells Story or wherever you listen to this podcast. Let's dive in and start this transformative journey together. Welcome to the Story of Spirit podcast. Welcome to the Astro Forecast for the week of November 10th through 16th. This week, things change. I mean, we're already in a season of lots of change, right? Lots of planets changing directions. It's Scorpio season. We are digging up the roots of old programming to get to the heart of the matter, to change our path forward, because we cannot continue to move forward with this ball and chain tied to our ankle. And that ball and chain are patterns and identities that no longer serve your mission and goals moving forward. So it's a time, our human side, our brain does not like change, right? It wants things to stay the same forever, and you don't have to give up any identities and just continue on as if you were, a child. And this is not the way of it. Your soul wants evolution. It needs evolution. That's why you're here. It's not a lifetime to lay on a beach in Hawaii and drink pina coladas. Maybe you want to, but it's not actually the way of it for us as humans. So this week starts out on Monday, November 10th, with a third quarter moon phase in Cancer. So the moon is starting to lose light, and it's in Cancer. It's a very sensitive moon. This is setting the energy for our emotions in the week. So it's not typical astrology technique, but I have found it actually works, because we call it sort of like a chart of an event, right? When you cast a chart for an event, you're sort of trying to pick the best time for the aspects so that energy permeates the entire event, right? This is intention. The way that your energy is when you create an event or create something in your life is going to be the energy that kind of talks about the outcome, that is going to get you the experience of it, right? So we really want to be clear with our intention. And the moon rules our emotions. It's our connections to our closest people. It's our emotional instinct. It is our heart, right, in our charts. And so the moon, every time I look at the beginning of the week, which is Monday, I'll look to see what phase of the moon it is in, which is going to talk about the theme of the week, and then what sign it is in. And the sign is going to give us the emotion or maybe the caution, or sometimes the gift that kind of comes along with that. So a Cancer moon to start out the week is going to tell us that it's going to be an emotional week. We are going to, if you can tap into your emotions as a superpower, you're going to gain a lot this week. If your emotions are not connected to your awareness in any way and it rules you, you're going to have a rough week. And when we look out at the world, I notice, especially when I'm on Facebook or Instagram, especially reading political posts, there's not a lot of people that are connected to their emotions or awareness around what these emotions are telling them about their life, about their conditioning, about their past, and about the division in the world, right? So Cancer moon, it's an emotional time. It's a very psychic time. If you can tap into your emotions as knowledge and information, you're going to do very well this week. And because you're listening to this podcast, I believe in you, and it's going to be a great week for you. Okay. Now, we also have during this time, Mercury has gone retrograde, and Mercury rules our emotions, are not emotions, our communications, our thought processing skills. And it's in Sagittarius, which is fire. Whenever we have Mercury retrograde in fire, this is a huge block to our forward momentum. We want fire. Sagittarius wants to just go wherever its heart desires, right? It just wants to flow with creativity and optimism. And Mercury is like, no, where are you getting your optimism? Why are you not acting on your optimism? Is it actually for goals that are going to further your mission in life? Or are you taking on other people's goals? Why are you sitting back on your goals? Why aren't you actually stepping into them? So, being a Scorpio season, you're going to be triggered this week, right? Maybe you want to be in forward momentum like me, and things are not going the way you want. And it is so interesting where I notice that my motivation is not in the direction of my goals, which is like, what is that about? And there's a number of things happening in my family right now that require me that is not in the direction of what I thought I needed to do. So, you know what? Great. Thank you, brain, for thinking that it knows what to do. And I need to flow with the energy that's presenting in my life. In this moment in time, I can tell you I have resistance. I can feel that resistance. I feel it in my stomach. You might feel it somewhere else. But noticing when the universe is trying to take you in another direction and it's saying, not now. And that's exactly what I'm seeing in this astrology this week. So we start at the week on Tuesday, November 11th. Jupiter goes retrograde in Cancer. So remember, retrograde means that the planet's going slower than the Earth. It's slowing down in its trajectory relative to the Earth. And this means now the energy of that planet, as opposed to being extroverted and go, 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 it's introverted into a more introspective time. And Jupiter is about expansion, optimism, and good luck. And in Cancer, it is about expanding your home, expanding your foundations, really shoring up that inner you, that inner child, that part of you that really is the motivation and the foundations for all of your dreams to jump off from that platform. So, Jupiter going retrograde during this time is going to mark now the fifth planet to go retrograde at this point in time. And between November 11th and November 27th, we will have 5 planets in retrograde. That's half the planets that we look at for the major astrology for Earth. And this means it's a really big slowdown. Jupiter is optimism, expansion, good luck, and it's retrograding. And it was at a standstill at the same degree last week. So we weren't feeling that expansiveness. A good friend of mine just sent me a Instagram post about November's go time. This is going to be a great time for all the earth signs to go. And I was like, this post person has no idea about astrology. Zero. Because the energy of retrogrades is not go time. If you were born with all these planets retrograde, it could be go time for you. If you're feeling that's go time for you and everything, all the lights are green, go. Blessings to you. I'm so happy for you. The majority of the humans on this planet are going to feel the slowdown, the intentional pause, right? This is on purpose. This is a cosmic pause to help you go back and cross the T's and dot the I's of the things that you glossed over and just tried to do quickly. Great time to clean out your house. Great time to make your Christmas lists and start to get that in order. Great time to get your money house in order. And great time to just get life in order, to look back and go, what am I wasting in my life? What am I really not focusing on in terms of my goals? And why? Why am I not doing that? So, Jupiter retrograde in Cancer encourages reflection on expansion, growth, and abundance through emotional wisdom and family or home matters. Opportunities may arise from looking inward rather than outward. Review your long term goals for alignment with emotional security and personal goals. Growth is more internal than external during this period of time, and Jupiter will retrograde until March 10th, 2026. So it's not that you can't expand, till then. But I think when some of these other planets start to go direct, especially Mercury, because it's an inner planet, it governs our personality and the way that we feel within ourselves. Jupiter is considered an interpersonal, the way we socialize and deal with the world itself. But it's the closest planet to the personal planet. So there is this kind of, I feel like the expansion, we feel it inward, but it also reflects out into our world. So this is a time now to really think about those things, those really poignant things. Reflect on what truly nurtures your emotional and material security. Great time for that, of course, because we're going into Christmas season and we're going into Black Friday's coming up. We're going to spend all this money. And so many people that I've talked about are saying that they're not spending that much money this year. The economy is different. The energy is different in the air. There's more conservative spending kind of practices that are coming out because so many things are more expensive because of tariffs and global economies that your dollar just might not go as far. So I think it's going to be about intentional gifts, if you give gifts at all, and intentional time spent, right? I sort of almost feel like, I feel actually that experiences give more than gifts, because they're just going to end up in a donate pile at some point in your life, but memories are going to last a long time, especially if you take lots of pictures. So noticing that, and then also noticing overextension, indulgence, or unrealistic expectations, because Jupiter can also become righteousness when it's turned up too loud, especially in Cancer, right? We can become very needy or dependent on other people acknowledging us or seeing us or saying sorry to us. And of course, that's a fundamental need for us, to be seen, to be heard, to be loved, to be free, and to be heard. I think I said to be heard. I'm missing one. But all of those feelings, those are fundamental needs from us. And sometimes when we become codependent and we need other people to give that to us, it does not, it never serves you. It'll never serve you. If you're looking for your worth outside yourself, you now have anxious attachment. So to come back into secure attachment, you have to know that you are a freaking diamond and everyone around you is a freaking diamond, and they can tell you if something's off. You don't have to try to figure that out or feel what they feel like. That's a Cancer moon thing, that because you're so sensitive, if somebody's disappointed or you feel their energy shift, you don't actually know what they're feeling, but you might think you do, or you might interpret it in a way that they didn't tell you. And now you start to second guess and try to anticipate other people's needs. Don't do that this week. And if you do that, you're going to notice that you're going to get it wrong because the retrograde is going to show you it's not your job to be in other people's heads. It is not your job to anticipate everyone else's needs. Of course, unless you have, young kids, you're always trying to anticipate their needs or figure out what they need from you. But or you might be in a profession where, people are depending on you for you to understand their needs. But other than that, your friends and family, they have a tongue in their mouth and they get to tell you or, let you know how they feel. And if they're not ready to tell you, or they don't have the capacity to let you know, then it's okay. It's okay. That detachment is going to be important this week. All right. And then other major aspect this week, there's only two, is Wednesday, November 12th. We have Mercury retrograde conjunct Mars in Sagittarius. Now, Mars is passion, motivation, desire to go, and Mercury is our mind, our communication, our thought patterns, right? And our closest community connections as well, coordination as well. So it's interesting because Mars rules cars and Mercury rules travel. And when there's a retrograde conjunction, this can be a marker for more car accidents, mechanical breakdowns, even though they're conjunct, meaning that's like they're working as a team. Because that Mercury retrograde, it's sort of like it's not working on the time frame in which you want it to, especially in a fire sign. So I'm gonna say, especially I'm gonna say Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you really got to pack extra patience. Things are just not going to go according to plan. They're not going to be on the agenda. There's can be heated conversations, a rush to act before thinking. Energy for action communication is high, but impulsivity is likely because Mars wants to go and Mercury's it's not now. And Mars is very, very powerful in Sagittarius. It's a fire sign. And so it's a time when you don't want to make impulsive decisions. You really don't want to make impulsive purchases now. And you definitely don't want to be impulsive in your actions and driving because it could be a higher propensity for an accident. So I'm not saying you will be in an accident. There's just a higher propensity for it, like for you to stub your toe or, slip down a couple stairs or hit your elbow on things or misjudge countertops. You're just going to have a higher propensity to get hurt during this time. So not necessarily a car accident, there's other, little minor accidents around the house that, give you a bruise, or a bruised ego, but not necessarily anything, potent. So I don't want you to get worried about that. Channel this drive into reflection, planning, or completing unfinished projects rather than initiating new ones. This is not a time with 5 planets in retrograde to start anything new, unless you have planets in retrograde in your birth chart and you're feeling the go time. There's always that caveat, there's not a blanket, everyone is this, especially in astrology, there's so much nuance. So if you're feeling the drive to go and you're like, yes, all green lights, go for it. But I would say the majority of the population, this is not a time to start something new, because it's a time of introspection, revision, reviewing, realigning back to your goals and mission and your values. So awareness of your words and timing is key, right? And in human design, which I know we're in astrology, but in human design, there's a real timing aspect to all the types, which I love, and your authority within it, which I won't get into in this one, but there's a timing piece. And if we're patient and we wait for the right time, man, can we be so potent. Man, can we do more with less, right? So in our humanness, we can feel impatient and we're like, is it now? Is it now? Is it now? I was feeling that in my life many times. A major one that's coming to mind is when I was going to leave my corporate job. I knew I was meant to be a psychic medium, someone who's helping people in transitions in their life in some way. I knew I was going to leave corporate. It was on the horizon, but I just didn't know when. And every year I would get my chart read. I would go for a birthday reading with my astrology teacher, who's now in spirit. And I'd be like, is it this year? Is it this year, Chris? Can I leave my job? She's like, oh, not for another 3 years. Every year she would say, no, not for another 3 years. Saturn's moving through your money house. Pluto's moving through your money house. I was like, oh my God, when is it time? And she's like, probably around 2019, 2020. I was like, that's so far away. So far away. And I think that's one thing I love about astrology, is because we can see timings of like, when's a really good time for things. But of course, your intuition is the timing mechanism, right? It's not astrology has the be all and end all of what you should do. It can inform you like a trusted aid or advisor, but in the end, you are the trusted aid and advisor. Your intuition is the strongest advisor. And so this week, you have the power to tap into that with that Cancer moon that's kind of influencing the week. And this is a time to really be mindful and stop to think, is this the right timing for this? And if you don't have clear clarity, this is exactly where I should be going, it's not a good time. It's not a good time. Again, great time to clear the clutter, finish old to-do lists, projects that have been calling to you, cleaning out your house. Fantastic. The garage, I mean, it might be a little cold at this moment in time in November, but it's a time to finish old things. So revisit strategies, clarify intentions, and plan carefully. Really be careful with getting into arguments with people, especially online or in your car. It's going to heat fast, and you don't want that. Impulsive decisions or miscommunication can happen with this. Mercury is retrograde, so that is a marker of miscommunication, delayed flights, things not going according to plan, sending texts to wrong people, gossiping, and everyone it getting back to you, right? It's about communication not going the way you planned. So, you know, really be aware of who you're sending the text to. Be aware of your emails and proofread them. You might want to copy and paste them into ChatGPT and just like, can you just make sure that this is correct? Right? Whatever it is, just double check, triple check this week, especially this Mars is going to make things a little bit more turbulent if you're not aware. All right. So wishing you a wonderful week of introspection, of slowing down intentionally, of double checking and triple checking things. If you're someone who likes to go fast, as I do, this is very torturous for me and probably for you too, but it's also happening for us, right? And I am always reminding myself it's to slow down. This energy, because it's in Sagittarius as well, for some of you, if you're a fire sign or have a lot of fire signs in your chart, you will need to work out this energy in a way that feels either productive or in a place that feels good for you. So if you're a gym person, working it out of the gym very vigorously, going for a hike. But if you're going for a hike, be very careful and intentional in where you step, right? Because your coordination's a little off with Mercury retrograde. Really, kickboxing might be a good one for this, like just getting that energy out this week, because you might be very restless when you get to bed if you don't expend it. So wishing you a wonderful week ahead of intention, of slowing down, ease, and everything going your way. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Story of Spirit podcast. I hope you have found inspiration, support, and practical insights to help you align with your soul-led purpose and live a life that sets your soul on fire. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, and share it with a friend. Your support helps us to reach more listeners and continues to provide valuable content. I sincerely appreciate every share, and I know it is how most people find me. It is because caring people like you have shared me with them at the right and perfect time. For more resources, insights, and to connect with our community, please visit us at www.shetellstory.com and follow us on Instagram at shetellstory. Remember, your journey to a more aligned and vibrant life is just the beginning, and I am here to support you every step of the way. Until next time, stay aligned, stay inspired, and keep shining your beautiful light. This is Shetell Story, signing off from the Story of Spirit podcast. Here's the legal ease that's required by our lawyers. This podcast and the YouTube channel represents the opinions of Shetell Story and her guests to the show. The content should not be taken as medical, psychological, or financial advice. This series is informational and entertainment purposes only. Because each person is so unique, please consult your healthcare professional, your mental health dream team, your financial advisor, or anyone else that's an expert in the field in where you are thinking of making big choices in your life.